Don't drink that. Amara's hand froze instantly. The wooden cup of palm wine trembled between her fingers. The courtyard around her was noisy with laughter, music, and chatter, yet those 3 words crashed into her ears louder than anything else happening around them. She slowly lifted her gaze. Zainab was staring at her with wide, terrified eyes, the kind of fear you don't fake. Her chest was rising and falling fast, and her lips were pressed into a thin, shaky line. "What are you talking about?" Amara whispered. Zainab's eyes darted to the right. Amara followed her gaze. 3 girls stood near a cluster of plantain trees, pretending to admire decorations for the upcoming ceremony. But their eyes were locked on Amara. Watching. Waiting. One of them, Ngozi, quickly looked away, but the guilt on her face flashed bright as day. Zainab stepped closer, so close her breath brushed Amara's cheek. "I overheard them," she whispered. "They put something in your drink. They want you sick. They want you to miss the ceremony." The words punched the air from Amara's lungs. Again. It was happening again. Slowly, she lowered the cup and placed it on the nearest wooden stool. Her fingers were trembling now. Not from fear, she was far too used to fear. No. This time she trembled from exhaustion. From frustration. From the weight of being hunted in her own village. "Why?" she whispered, her voice barely a breath. "Why do they hate me so much?" But she already knew why. She'd always known. Her name was Amara. But to the village, she had become something else entirely. The beauty of the gods. A blessing, they called it. A gift from the heavens. But what they never understood is that a blessing can feel like a curse when the world begins to fear it or envy it. It had started the year she turned 16. She'd gone to visit her grandmother in the city, helping her run small errands and receiving advice no girl truly appreciates until she's older. When she returned to the village after 3 months, something about her was different. Not in a way she could see, but others saw it clearly. Men stopped speaking mid-sentence when she walked by. Women paused in their work, following her with narrowed eyes. Even the market elders, people known to mind only their business, found reasons to look at her twice. Her skin had taken on a bright, even glow from the city skincare routines her grandmother taught her. Her eyes sparkled with confidence she didn't know she carried. And the way she walked, she moved like someone who'd finally seen the world outside her tiny village. Someone who no longer shrank into herself. She didn't ask for the attention. She didn't want it. But the village gave it anyway. And jealousy followed soon after. The center of that jealousy was Kemi, the chief's daughter and the unofficial, most beautiful girl of the village. Kemi walked like royalty long before the kingdom ever announced a search for a bride. She had the finest wrappers, the shiniest beads, and a fan club of boys ready to carry her water pot at the snap of a finger. But when Amara returned, all that changed. The boys who used to trail behind Kemi found new excuses to wander near Amara's street. The market women who used to compliment Kemi's clothing style suddenly asked Amara where she bought her beads. Even Kemi's own mother once said, "That girl's beauty is not ordinary," unaware that Kemi was within earshot. From that day on, something dark sparked in Kemi. And like dry grass near fire, it spread fast. She gathered her 2 closest friends, Ada and Ngozi, and the 3 became Amara's silent tormentors. Everywhere Amara went, they were there. Watching. Whispering. Laughing. It started small. Cruel comments disguised as jokes. Rumors that she bathed in enchanted water. Gossip that her family used charms to make her beautiful. She tried to ignore them. She tried to rise above it. Her mother warned her gently, people who feel small will always try to make others feel smaller. But you, my daughter, must stand tall. But standing tall became harder and harder when the entire village began treating her differently. Women guarded their husbands, pulling them away whenever Amara walked into the market. Mothers dragged their sons indoors, whispering that her beauty was dangerous. Even her childhood friends began drifting away, worried that being close to her would put a target on their backs. The loneliness suffocated her. Then, one morning, the town crier's voice thundered across the village. "The king seeks a bride for the crown prince. In 7 days, Every unmarried woman must attend the selection ceremony at the palace. The village erupted. Girls screamed and ran to their mothers. Seamstresses were overwhelmed. Market stalls sold out of coral beads and colorful wrappers before midday. Every girl wanted to be a princess. Except Amara. Amara knew exactly what would happen if she attended. She could already feel Kemi's rage burning holes into her from across the village square. The chief's daughter had been raised her whole life to believe she was destined for royalty. There was no way she'd allow Amara to threaten that. Amara tried to refuse. But her mother held her hands tightly that evening and said, "This is your chance at a better life. Don't let fear decide your future." So Amara agreed. And that decision nearly cost her everything. The first attack came just 2 days later. Amara was returning from the stream when she felt a hard shove from behind. She fell forward, crashing into the dirt. Her clay water pot shattered, slicing her palms open with sharp fragments. She looked up just in time to see 3 blurred figures sprinting away, their laughter echoing through the trees. She recognized the laughter. Those shrill, mocking tones. She knew exactly who it was. That night, her mother cleaned her wounds with trembling hands. "They're afraid of you," she said softly. "Fear makes people dangerous." 2 nights later, the second attack came. Someone entered their compound during the night and poured spoiled palm oil all over Amara's best wrapper, the very outfit she had planned to wear to the palace. By morning, the stench was unbearable. The wrapper was ruined forever. No amount of sun or scrubbing could save it. Her father wanted to storm to the chief's house and report it. But her mother shook her head. "We have no proof. And even if we did, you know the chief protects Kemi before he protects the truth." Then came the third attack, the one Zainab had just stopped. The poisoned drink. This time, they hadn't just wanted humiliation. They wanted Amara out of the way completely. They wanted her so sick that she wouldn't make it to the ceremony. Or worse. Amara stared at the drink now sitting innocently on the stool. She imagined her life ending because someone hated her beauty. Because someone couldn't handle her existence. Her throat tightened. Slowly, she turned toward Zainab. Her voice was steady. "I'm not running anymore." Zainab blinked. "Amara, if they want to ruin my life, they will have to look me in the eyes and try. I am done hiding." Zainab reached out and took her hand. "Then I'm with you. You're not going alone." The day of the selection ceremony arrived. Hundreds of girls filled the palace courtyard, dressed in the finest wrappers their families could afford. Amara wore her grandmother's simple sky blue wrapper. It wasn't fancy. It wasn't expensive. But it carried memories. Strength. Love. And that was enough. Even without gold or silk, she glowed. Heads turned. Whispers spread. Kemi arrived moments later, dripping in gold like a walking sun. Her hair was wrapped high and her jewelry sparkled like stars. Ada and Gozi trailed behind her, arrogance radiating from all 3 of them. Kemi slowed when she saw Amara. "You shouldn't have come," she said, her eyes slicing like blades. Amara lifted her chin. The invitation was for everyone. Kemi's lips twisted. "Not for you." But before she could say more, the palace guards announced the start of the ceremony. The girls took turns dancing before the prince and the elders. Some danced nervously. Some danced boldly. Some danced with desperation, hoping to be noticed. When Kemi stepped forward, the crowd applauded. Her movements were sharp, precise, seductive, every step practiced to perfection. When she finished, even some of the elders nodded in approval. Then the palace drummers called the next girl. Amara. She hadn't planned to dance. But something inside her, a quiet fire, pulled her forward. She stepped into the open courtyard. The drummers lifted their sticks. When the music began, she let her body move on its own. Soft, fluid, graceful. She danced like water rolling over stones. Like wind drifting through tall grass. She didn't try to impress anyone. She just danced from a place deep inside her chest, a place full of pain, strength, and silent resilience. Slowly, the courtyard fell silent. Even the musicians stared. And when she finished, the silence held for 3 long heartbeats. Then the applause exploded like thunder. The prince, who had been watching with a blank expression through every other performance, suddenly leaned forward. His eyes locked onto Amara with intense curiosity. He stood. The courtyard gasped. He walked past every girl, past Kemi frozen in shock, and stopped in front of Amara. "What is your name?" he asked. "Amara," she whispered. He smiled softly. "Walk with me." The courtyard erupted into whispers. Kemi's face turned gray. The prince led Amara to a quiet garden behind the courtyard. "I've heard about you," he said. "The beauty of the gods." Amara swallowed. "I don't call myself that." "I know," he said gently. "Others call you that." Then his eyes darkened. "And I also heard about the attacks." Amara's breath caught. "How?" He stepped closer. "I have eyes and ears in every part of this kingdom. When I learned what was happening to you, I knew you were someone I needed to meet." She was stunned. For years, people had judged her by her face. Not one had cared about the pain behind it. But he saw her strength. He suddenly turned and signaled the guards. "Bring Kemi, Ada, and Gozi." When the three girls arrived, their confidence evaporated instantly. Kemi's entire body stiffened when she saw Amara beside the prince. "I know what you did," the prince said coldly. "The poisoning, the sabotage, all of it." Ada and Gozi collapsed to their knees, crying. Kemi stayed standing, shaking, but glaring. "Your Highness, she's lying." Silence. His voice cracked like a whip. "My guards witnessed the poisoning attempt. And we have testimony from multiple villagers." Kemi's face drained of all color. "You will be stripped of your titles," the prince continued. "You are banned from the palace. Your father will answer for your actions." Kemi's eyes filled with hatred. "You took everything from me," she hissed at Amara. "No," Amara said quietly. "You destroyed yourself trying to destroy me." The guards dragged them away. The prince returned to the courtyard and raised his voice. "I have made my choice." The entire palace held its breath. "Amara will be my bride." Cheers erupted. Amara's parents rushed forward, crying tears of joy. Zainab hugged her so tightly she could barely breathe. That night, as fireworks cracked in the sky and music filled the palace, Amara stood on the balcony alone. The soft breeze brushed her skin. Zainab walked up beside her. "You did it," she whispered. "You survived." Amara closed her eyes. "They wanted me dead because they saw my beauty as a threat. But beauty was never the threat." She opened her eyes and looked at the stars. "My strength was." 3 months later, she married the prince in a celebration that brought the entire kingdom together. And over the years, she became known not only for her beauty, but for her wisdom, her strength, and the laws she introduced to protect young women from harassment and jealousy-driven violence. She transformed her pain into purpose, her suffering into change. And that was a beauty no one could ever destroy. So tell me, have you ever been targeted because someone was jealous of you? Has anyone ever tried to dim your light? Share your story in the comments. Your words might help someone else survive. And if this story touched your heart, if you felt Amara's pain, her fear, her strength, hit that like button right now. It helps more people discover these powerful stories. Subscribe to this channel for more emotional and life-changing stories every week. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload.